Our next speaker that I'd like to introduce is David Atkins, the branch head for Industrial Energy Efficiency from the Commonwealth Department of Climate Change, Energy, Environment and Water, to give us an update on CBD. Please welcome David to the stage.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. I'd like to really thank our NABERS colleagues for giving me this opportunity to present an update from the Commonwealth. I'm David Atkins. I'd like to just join myself to Uncle Alan Madden's fabulous welcome to country, and also acknowledge Nathan Leslie for his fabulous didgeridoo playing. It's a great reminder that we are on Gadigal country and of the traditional owners of the various lands from which we all come, and of the elders, past and present, and of all our First Nations colleagues who might be with us and who we might meet in our daily lives. I went forward in time, 25 years. Everything Carla said happened. Well, I hope to anyway. I notice I'm wearing a gold tie today, which is for 50th anniversary. This is the 25th anniversary. I should have worn the silver tie, but I am just thinking forward to what NABERS will be like in 25 years. The jokes won't get better. NABERS is trusted, reliable and well-renowned as a sustainability and energy ratings tool. We know that. That's why we're in this room. Commonwealth Government has been and remains a great supporter of NABERS and has funded the rapid expansion of NABERS tools that Carlos mentioned. I won't read the tools, but the pics are all there. But there's so much more to have happen. The last 5 years have been a very exciting expansion of NABERS. And tools like the Energy Performance Indicator and the Embodied Carbon Tool really are taking us forward into that next 25-year phase. But this is also, my session is the audience participation session. I should have probably started with that. Well, it's at least the session where we invite audience participation later. Although, feel free to, in this session, if the jokes do get too bad, to get on your phones and tell us what you think about both the commercial billings disclosure consultation that Senator McAllister launched this morning. Team, the docs are up, right? Yep, okay, good, the docs are up. And also, and we've got colleagues from the Australian Building Codes Board here today. There's also a consultation on changes to the National Construction Code, primarily focused on commercial buildings that are out for public comment. And we'd also really encourage people to look at those changes and tell us again what you think. NABERS and the Commercial Buildings Disclosure Program in particular have a very close relationship, a symbiotic relationship, if you like. Commercial Buildings Disclosure, or CBD, because Commercial Buildings Disclosure gets a bit wearing to say and to hear. So CBD is a regulatory energy disclosure program, which I think Anthony Lee was right and very kind to note, kind of hits a sweet spot in terms of regulation. It's not the heavy hand of government, but it does ask people to disclose their NABERS, disclose NABERS ratings. And when I say ask, it's like when your parents say they're asking you to do something. It has people do that, but it doesn't mandate more than that. We find that disclosure and transparency tend to be something that drives great energy performance behaviour, because once people know the true energy performance of their building, they want to do better, and that's fabulous. Mandating that information empowers people, and that's the best type of regulation that empowers people to take action and internalise that change. And as Carlos mentioned, the change has been at least 35% on average, and in subsectors a much higher reduction in energy performance, improvement in energy performance, reduction in energy consumption and associated emissions reductions for those buildings. It really makes a difference, and it makes a difference in commercially very viable, very attractive ways. Yeah. The commercial CBD operations and compliance teams within the Department of Climate Change, Energy, Environment and Water, or we just say DCCEEW because, again, it's a bit of a mouthful, work diligently with building owners, managers and accredited assessors to ensure compliance with mandatory disclosure obligations under the Act. And the team is here, especially the CBD operations team. Please come to the booth and get to know them, get to meet them. You can put faces to some of the names that you'll know from emails and from calls, and voices you'll know from calls. That team issued approximately 1,500 beaks per year and provided detailed one-on-one support for assessors. And last week, relaunched the website, and again, really keen to hear people's views on the website. We are hoping that is a lot more accessible, particularly information on exemptions. So really keen to have your views, and the team's around, and we'll be keen to know. As Senator McAllister mentioned, we are consulting on possible expansion of the CBD program, and we'd really love to know what you think. There's a raft of information on our website. Raft of information's on the website, including a report that we commissioned from KPMG, which gives some options for how the program could be expanded, and a discussion paper. And I think this morning at the panel, Frankie Muscovich alluded to, think about dimensions of expansion, not just new building types, that's really cool, but also things like new indicators. We're open to all your views, and we really want to hear them. But settling a roadmap for expansion of CBD can help us align to Australia's legislated 2030 and 2050 decarbonisation targets, and provide a roadmap for when particular building types can be coming into the program. If you don't find one of the team, feel free to bail me up over lunch or at the break, or just walk around the halls if you want to tell me what you think face to face. But do please also tell us formally through the program, through the consultation. And again, my colleagues in the Australian Building Codes Board will be really keen to hear your views of the proposed changes to the National Construction Code 2025, which is out for public comment as a public comment draft. The proposed amendments will see increased energy efficiency in commercial buildings and provide cost-effective, fuel and technology-neutral ways for buildings to move forward to a net zero future. And I really would like to stress that, cost-effective, fuel and technology-neutral ways. These proposed improvements to energy efficiency provisions will see an increase in stringency for all commercial building types, increased common areas, including common areas for apartment buildings. This will be an important step towards net zero by 2050, and that important and legislated for Commonwealth goal. The National Construction Code also references NABERS commitment agreements as one pathway to meet the energy efficiency provisions. These NABERS commitments agreements pathway is also proposed to have higher star rating stringency for all building types alongside additional technical improvements. Based on the consultation regulation impact statement, and it is a page turner, even amongst consultation regulation impact statements, the option proposed for the next edition of the NCC is the one with the highest gross level economic benefit, which means it's not just lowest cost, it's actually net beneficial to the economy. It's worth us doing this as a nation, as an economy. It will add to our economy, as well as contributing to net zero by 2050. I'd really encourage people to please tell us what you think about those two exercises, and the website links are in the slides. Should also note that with NCC 2025, there are some worked examples that are available on the DCCEEW website if you'd like to see how some of this works in practice. These aim to show industry professionals how proposed requirements will affect design process in particular. And each example includes a step-by-step demonstration of the design system which would comply with the proposed requirements. And there's a breakout session later today on the program with colleagues from the ABCB. I'd really recommend that session to you. Also, we're doing a bit of a things in two on these slides. Another thing of two parts I'd like to mention is the National Energy Performance Strategy, which was launched on the 4th of April. It has 5 areas of focus and provides a framework for thinking about energy performance at a national level, kind of as the name says. Those 5 areas of focus are the economy, households, communities, business and industry, the energy system, technology and innovation. It focuses on empowering Australians to improve energy performance and ensure that more consumers have access to energy savings upgrades. The strategy provides a demand-side framework to drive coordinated action and outlines significant early steps taken by the Australian government to deliver net zero emissions and improve energy affordability and reliability. And as part of that, in the 2023-2024 federal budget, we made a $1.7 billion down payment by way of the energy savings package, which the streams of that package are outlined in the National Energy Performance Strategy. I'd also like to call out the APS Net Zero by 2030 work, and particularly the Net Zero in Government Operations Strategy. And I've got colleagues from the Department of Finance who own this strategy, and they can be met at the booth. Plus, I think we're also speaking on the program later today. Yep. It's a very significant policy which expands minimum energy performance standards for Commonwealth procurement, essentially. It promotes energy efficiency and reduces operational costs while demonstrating and de-risking technology for the market, sets minimum requirements for government-owned and leased buildings and data centres, and considers, you could even think of it as indicating a direction of travel for policies that preference hotels with high minimum NABERS ratings for official travel. Specifically, for existing office buildings from July 2025, office buildings in capital cities must have a 5.5 NABERS energy rating to secure a lease from an Australian government agency. For new office buildings from 2026, new office built for or by the Australian government with a value over $15 million must achieve a 4-star green certification using the climate positive pathway and a 6-star NABERS energy rating. For warehouses, NABERS ratings will be considered as part of the procurement process and will aim for a 4-star rating. For data centres, they'll need to reach a minimum of 5 stars to be included in the Commonwealth Government's data centre panel. And hotels from July 2024, so from a couple of weeks, NABERS energy ratings for hotels will be included in the system for hotel bookings by government officials, and government officials must consider the environment when making their hotel bookings. For someone who gets to sit up in front of Senate estimates committees and be grilled about all manner of things, that will certainly weigh on my mind when I'm making hotel bookings. So really important sessions, and really recommend Luke Delancey from the Department of Finance session that he'll give on that with more detail on that strategy. Just finally wanted to wrap up by noting the Commonwealth Government is also working on 2 documents with related scopes. One is a net zero plan for the built environment. It is one of a suite of 6 net zero plans. In view of time, I won't list the 6, but again, collar me in the hallway if you want to know about all 6. Related to that is a document we're working on with states and territory colleagues, which is updating the current, or the 2019 trajectory for low energy buildings. Both these documents will provide important direction and pathways towards net zero in the built environment, and the contribution the built environment can make to the broader net zero by 2050 pathway that we are all on. So in wrapping up, I had 2 messages. One, I have one key message about 2 points, which has 3 highlights, because I'm from the government. I told you the jokes wouldn't get better. Please tell us what you think about commercial buildings disclosure expansion. Please tell us what you think about the NCC changes proposed for 2025. And please do wait with bated breath for Luke's session on APS Net Zero. It's going to be a real perler. In wrapping up, I'd like to really lean into the dorky parent, daggy parent thing, but with great sincerity. Every attendee at this session today, every NABERS assessor, everyone who works tirelessly, as you all do, to achieve a lower energy, lower emissions, higher efficiency built environment, is contributing to an important national endeavour. Getting to net zero by 2050 will be the largest economic transformation this country's seen since the 20s, when it electrified in the first place. And each of you is making an important contribution to that nation-building endeavour, And I just want to thank you for doing that. Thank you.
David, thank you so much for sharing, and just a helpful reminder that consultation is open and the documents are up, I hear from the team. So not only announced but open, and it's a really huge step forward.